Hello, I want to first thank all of you for being here and giving me the opportunity to give this presentation. But fortunately, Swami Mahayogananda gave me the easiest one because it pretty much states that I just need to sit down and sit quietly and not say anything. Because the quote, and you'll understand why, and because the quote from the gospel is, men often think that they have understood Brahman fully. Once an ant went to a hill of sugar. One grain filled its stomach. Taking another grain in its mouth, it started homeward. On its way, it thought, next time I shall carry home the whole hill. That's the way a shallow mind thinks. And they don't know that Brahman is beyond one's words and thought. However great a man may be, how much can he know of Brahman? Shukadeva and sages like him may have been big ants, but even they could carry at most 8 or 10 grains of sugar. So this is a direct interpretation, is pretty much stated within the quote itself. And in that we cannot begin to understand Brahman. And if you read just before this quote, it talks about a small story of a man that sends his 2 sons to learn of Brahman. And when the sons come back, one of the sons comes back and tells the father of all the things he's learned, and the father doesn't say anything and asks the second son to speak, and the second son says nothing and just keeps his head down. And the father states, well, you've actually learned a little bit of something about Brahman. So that's probably what I should be doing now. But just to fill up my 10 minutes, I will say a few more things. And to explain, and the purpose of this really is that Brahman is obviously so vast and infinite that this little ant has no way of comprehending how many grains of sugar there is that he would have to carry all at once. And so obviously we are the little ant. And the reason it's so vast and hard to describe is because of one of the components is the dualities of knowledge and devotion, evil and good, all within Brahman. There was another quote in here talking about how the evil and good that can be done on the planet Earth, but it doesn't affect the sun at all. The sun shines on all of it, irrespective of what goes on the surface. So I want to give some of my own impressions, and in that, if you accept that Brahman is too vast to fathom by the human form, you can decide to either give up and go about your business in the quest of material things and not even consider Brahman, because that's easy to do, and a lot of people are possibly doing this. Or on the other hand, one can devote himself to Brahman, such as the sages and our gurus, and maybe you'll be able to carry 7, 8, 10 grains of sugar versus the one that maybe a small ant like myself can do. So both are quite attractive in that you could either go after material things. I'm sure those people are quite happy, and you could be also happy carrying 7 or 8 grains of sugar. So both are quite attractive, and I see the value in both, in fact. However, for those that have a job, just as this little ant does, his job is to carry the sugar grains to his anthill and feed the others in the mound. Similarly, I need to work to make sure my kids can go to college, and so within this process, we might be able to do a little bit of both, in that work to try our very best to attain both the knowledge and the devotion, and maybe aware of the the evils that are out there as well as maybe some of the good. So that's my take.